Yep. Test. Yep. Got me. Perfect. Got me.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Welcome everybody to Paisley Park, the home of Altona Magic, as they take on Avondale FC in round 23 of the NPL men's season. It is quite a chilly one here at Paisley Park, 13 degrees at the moment here at Paisley Park, and we're having gusts of up to 49 kilometers an hour and wind of up to 23 kilometers an hour. So it's going to be quite a windy one as well. And obviously we are in Melbourne, so the added addition of rain could be on the horizon. However, as of right now, it is clear at the moment. The lineup for these two sides, I'll run you through the Altona Magic lineup. Only one change that they have from last week's clash up that they had against South Melbourne, and that is Saliu Kamara is into the lineup. Number 2 will be Hiyori Kawaguchi. Number 4, Tawafik Olamawewe. Number 5, Dejan Bakadanikoski. Number 6, John Stoichevsky. Number 7, Owen Shepherd. Number 8, William Thomason. Number 11, Bilal Habib. Number 15, Alexander Gust. Number 16, Mohammed El Hawley. Number 85, Saliu Kamara. And number 88 in goals. And the captain is Christian Rossi. And for Avondale, 4 changes that they are undergoing after their 1-1 draw that they had last week at home against Dandenong City. 4 brand new players are going to be coming in. Stefan Zini, along too with Christian Trajczewski, number 25, Jackson Corney-Perkins, and he's gotten a call-up from the under-23 squad, is Massimo D'Argino. The lineup for Avondale looks like this. Number 7, Stefan Zini, as I just mentioned. Number 11, Kirker. Number 13, Yityu Towns. Number 21 in goal is Thomas Manos. Number 23, Christian Trajczewski. Number 24, Emlyn Wellsmore. Number 25, Jackson Corney-Perkins. Number 27, Luka Tavir. Number 41, Yusuf Ahmed. number 4, Aiden Bryce. And obviously making his start is number 2, Massimo D'Argino. So those are the lineups for these two sides here today at Paisley Park. A very, very cold encounter between these two. However, things should heat up out there on the pitch, as these two will go at it in round 23. Only 3 more rounds to go after this round is completed. Round 24, 25, and 26. We are well and truly on the run to the finals here in the NPL Victoria men's competition. It's been an exciting season so far this season, and hopefully things can get even more spicier. The top teams, especially Heidelberg and Avondale, well and truly locked into their spots in the finals, and it's all just about determining the pecking order from then on. Heidelberg sit first, second is Avondale, which are on display right here. Third is Dandenong Thunder, fourth being the Oakley Cannons, fifth, surprising everyone indeed, are the Preston Lions, and number 6 is Hume City. However, we could get an occasional squeak in by a team that is firing on all cylinders, that being Dandenong City right now. Obviously, Green Gully as well, one to watch out for. Plenty of teams still fighting for their right to be in the finals, and you just never know who might be in the finals at the end of the day. So both these two teams just going to feel each other out here in the early stages of this one. Another team as well that I should mention that is slowly making their way up the ladder, they're making a little bit of a late end season push, is St. Albans Dynamo. Surprising a lot of people with the way that they are playing. Keep your eye out for Dynamo. Maybe this season they might have just peaked a little bit too late, but if only they can get off to a great start next season, who knows what they can do. A team that's really started to inflict a lot of damage on their opposition, especially over there at Churchill Reserve. Pitch suiting them is becoming a big favour for them. Here is D'Argino. Avondale have a quick turnaround here after their Australia Cup round 32 clash that they had on Tuesday. A 5-1 win against Stirling Macedonia at Green Gully Reserve. So it's a small, quick little turnaround for them through to the round of 16. 5-1 scoreline for them. 2 goals for Manny Agwek, who isn't starting here this afternoon. Sat on actually 13 goals in the NPL Victoria season thus far. One behind Joe Guest, and at the moment leading it is Bull Juach on 17. It's the Golden Boost race. So how can Avondale respond? Obviously they bench a couple of those key players for them that are quite important. Daniel Edwards isn't in the lineup, along too with Manny Agwek. No Keon Cuba, along too with Matthew Reid as well. So 2 blows for Avondale. However, this Avondale is still a very, very strong Avondale, and the first offside of the game being called. Our referee for today's clash is Ross Clark. And I'll run through all the other referees as well. Assistant referee number 1, Jordan English. Assistant referee number 2, Thomas Rashton. And our 4th official is Jock Quartermain. Wind is going to cause a mischief here at Paisley Park. However, this Altona team is very much used to that. It's always a unpredictable battleground here. You never really know what you're going to get. It might be rain, it might be sunny. The only thing that we're missing here is snowy conditions. There's already a first chance there, and Stefan Zini is getting a little bit etchy here at the moment. Today, though, Paisley Park has decided to throw out a whole bunch of wind here. And who knows what other conditions we might get. Monsoon-like conditions out here. However, the football will definitely be top tier. Glad you could be with us as well on this Saturday afternoon. Hopefully this game will pick up some big-time fireworks. Altona Magic, they would love to get a win at the moment. The way that they stand for their season, they're only 11th on 21 points. They've only had 5 wins, 6 draws, and 11 losses. They are right down at 11th. A win for them would be very ideal for them, really boosting them away from that playoff spot that will inevitably be for the team who does finish third from the bottom. That'll play the playoff team from VPL 1. A lot of storylines heading into this one, especially the relegation battle as well. Avondale, they're in a completely different league at the moment. It is smooth sailing for them. They can be as reserved as they like. 49 points they sit on, second on the table. Only a couple behind Heidelberg United. They're looking for their 3rd consecutive appearance in the NPL finals. The 2023 champions. Boy, would they love to be crowned champions yet again. At the moment, both of these two teams just feeling each other out. Avondale have had a couple attacking opportunities, especially on this near side with Stefan Zinni. Such a dangerous player we know Stefan Zinni can be once he gets the football. And once he breaks away from his defender, just watch out. You never know what he might create, whether it could be an assist or a shot on goal. Such a strong player he is. Ball going to be kicked once again into the direction of Zinni. Tries to control it with his foot, but unable to do so. Stefan Zinni, a former A-League player, played for Melbourne City, Western Sydney Wanderers and Western United back during the duration of 2014 to 2021. Joined Avondale back in 2021. He's been here ever since. And boy, have Avondale been proud to have him. In his time, he's scored 53 goals in his NPL Victoria career. This is his 160th NPL Victorian game, so quite the experienced player out there. He'll definitely want to make his presence felt as this game does progress. So we're going to have an Avondale throw in here on this near side at Paisley Park. Here's Manos. Going to clear it out to Courtney Perkins, who's in the starting lineup this week. Again, yet another dangerous player. He is Courtney Perkins whenever he does get the football. Joined Avondale last year. Actually played in Germany in the 6th tier there. So quite a lot of experience. And here he is once again, Courtney Perkins. He was held a little bit by Kawaguchi. The referee, Ross Clark, didn't see the need to call anything. Kirker, who played exceptionally well on Tuesday in that round of 32 clash against Sterling Macedonia in the Australia Cup. Scored a goal as well for his likings. It was an absolute beautiful goal as well. Definitely would have seen it somewhere on the highlights. Tavir tries to cross it inside, but wasn't able in doing so. Christian Rossi just going to roll it in for Stojcevski. He's going to go down long to Habib. Habib, the intended target, On multiple different occasions he has been already so far. Such a strong attacker, especially once he gets ahead of the football. Only scored 3 goals so far this season. Played in all 20 games for Altona, and I'm sure he'd love to add more to his tally. Definitely got the talent he has. Definitely got the agility and the speed once he does get ahead of the football, but he's always outnumbered with his defenders whenever he does get ahead of the ball. So it is going to be tough days whenever you are outnumbered. Kirker going to play it beautifully forward. Avondale just trying to settle in here slowly. Here's Towns. Playing it off to D'Argenio. Back off once again to D'Argenio. He's the captain, Aiden Bryce. Hasn't played too many games this year, Aiden Bryce he has. However, he has maximised in it. Whenever he has played, he scored 7 goals for his liking. Playing in 16 games as well. So watch out for Aiden Bryce. Every single player on this Avondale team is the threat. Whenever they are in front of the goal, almost every player has scored a goal this season. Ball we're just going to travel from end to end, from goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Bryce again. Out to Courtney Perkins. Just slowly making some inroads up the pitch here, Avondale are. Luca Tavir trying to break away, but he's in a sea of red. Tries to play it off to Yusuf Ahmed forwards. Ahmed fighting for it. Tavir manages to break away with it. Could this be a chance for Avondale? The first one, and not quite there. Denied was Christian Trajewski. But the first real look inside the box for Avondale. And Christian Trajewski, they're going to have to get the shackles out on him if Altona want to stay in this one, because he's definitely a dangerous player when he is ahead of the football as well. Also scored a game in that 5-1 victory on Tuesday night in the Australia Cup against Sterling Macedonia. Avondale have so many weapons at their disposal that you just never know on the day who's going to be the intended target. As I mentioned, no Manny Agwek as well on the bench this time round. Normally we're used to seeing him start. This time he's been benched, probably to try and preserve him most likely, especially because Avondale do have that locked in spot in the finals. Any bit of rest would help them. He has played in all 22 games this season, has not missed a beat so far. Been one of their reliable players. Has played 64 games in his NPL Victoria career. And he scored 26 goals as well this season. He scored 13 alone, so he's breaking down barriers that no one would have really thought possible. Again, only 1 goal behind Joe Guest. Joe Guest sitting on 14. And then Bull Jawach, obviously, the leader on 17. It's getting spicy up the top for that golden boot race. Tavir tried to fight off Olamowewe, but couldn't. The ball just going to be stuck in the middle there. So here come Avondale yet again. Trajewski it was, correction. Off to D'Argenio. Now off to Wellsmore, the former Oakley Cannon. Now in a different blue outfit. And for an Avenger, and another opportunity there once again. Stefan Zini being the intended target again. It was a beautiful ball, it was, by Yusuf Ahmed, placing it straight through to Zini. He just played a little bit too quickly for him to get there on time. As I mentioned already, watch out for Stefan Zini. He's already been etching to try and get a couple looks on goal. And he definitely will make an impact. Thomason to throw it in, who's come in and joined Altona Magic after his time down in VPL2 playing for the Essendon Royals. He's a player who's definitely not shy of any NPL experience, played on a multitude of different NPL teams, played for Melbourne Victory, Port Melbourne Sharks, Western United, Melbourne Knights, and then the most recent NPL team before he joined Essendon Royals was the Oakley Cannons. He played in 2023. Only made a handful of appearances he did before joining Essendon last year. And now he's back in the top flight of Victoria, playing for Altona Magic. Beautiful ball to Stefan Zini, and instead it's intercepted by Olamawewe. Olamawewe, another former VPL2 player, former Box Hill United player down in VPL2. He actually played for a number of non-league English football teams in England. They gave him extensive experience, as he's gone on to say. That is why he is such a key defender for Altona. He is from England as well, so he's definitely not any stranger to this cold weather that we're getting here at Paisley Park. Definitely suits him. Now we're going to have our first corner of the game here for Avondale on that far side. It will be Kirker to take it, to try and give Avondale a first goal of the game and really put a lot of pressure on Altona. Altona have done well defending. Last time out when they played at home here, they took on Heidelberg United and they were absolutely bombarded by Heidelberg's attack. Heidelberg virtually dominated that game. Altona did not have any breathing room in that game whatsoever, so at the moment they've got a little bit more breathing room, but at the moment it was a beautiful look inside for Trajewski, but couldn't quite make anything of it. Back to what I was saying before, at the moment it seems to be a little bit more even with the way that Altona are playing, but it's about this mark in the game where Heidelberg last time out managed to find another gear and really just managed to ramp and run down Altona completely, dominating the possession. About 85% of the possession was in Heidelberg's way. So how can Altona respond? Bryce with a good chest control, plays it off to Yusuf Ahmed. Just waiting around, going off to Towns. Towns, who's played in 20 games so far this season. One of their key players in the engine room. Watch out for him, especially once he gets space to get on his bike and start running. Really does make a lot of yardage. The Argenio. Back off to Courtney Perkins. Going to play it. Thought about, tried to go to Luka Tavir. He was the man in sight. Here's Trajewski. Still Trajewski. Still has the football. Going to turn around and kick it from well outside the box. But couldn't quite make anything out of that attempt. Was Christian Trajewski. Looking to try and replicate the goal that he had on Tuesday in the Australia Cup round of 32. He's only had 3 goals so far this season out of the 21 games that he has played. It doesn't seem like it when he is always in and around the football inside the box. It always seems like he's having some sort of shot on goal. Stefan Zini tried to take a boot from well outside. And a little bit of a questionable handball there that wasn't called by referee Ross Clark. By Olamawewe. Instead, play will continue. Wind definitely starting to pick up here. Definitely a lot windier than when kickoff first began. Is Wellsmore. Back off to Bryce. In the back third. He's already had a number of touches so far. He has Aiden Bryce. It's only a matter of time before he does start pushing up ahead of the ball. Kirker on that far side, who's one-on-one with Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi just managing to fight him off and regain the possession for Altona. Now we have a free kick coming up here for Altona. Might add as well, since it is Australia Cup season, all NPL and the one VPL2 side, that being Nunawading City, all made it through past the round of 32 in the Australia Cup. Obviously, as I've mentioned already, Avondale getting that 5-1 win over Stirling Macedonia. Heidelberg United got a 2-1 win at home against the Western Bears. Western Bears being the third place team in the Northern New South Wales NPL. South Melbourne got a 2-1 win on Wednesday night at KGV Stadium in Tasmania against South Hobart. South Hobart, the first placed team in NPL Tasmania. And then obviously the fairy tale still alive for VPL2 side Nunawading City. A 9-0 victory for them against Darwin Olympic. It was an absolutely phenomenal performance of them. So happy for Nunawading getting through to the round of 16 on the national stage. They do sit 11th in the VPL 2 competition, so extraordinary for them. A small club that'll definitely be happy with that. Shout out as well to one of our very own Football Victoria commentators, Lockie Flanagan, who was on the call for that 9-0 victory for Nunawading City against Darwin Olympic. I know he's situated now in New South Wales, so a shout out to him if he is watching this game at the moment. Or maybe he could be calling one of the games in New South Wales at the moment, but still shout out to him. So still 0-0 here at Paisley Park. Stojcevski, who's going to play it off to Gust on that far side. Ball just being trapped with Habib. Trying to fight their way out. Ozell Hawley. And could this be a chance here for Altona? They need one desperately here, they do. Still got the ball is Bakradanovski. And not quite on that occasion. Bakradanikoski to be. And still Avondale again to retain possession. Habib plays it off to Kawaguchi. Tries to get up was Gust. And not quite there. Manos to roll it off. Avondale once again to go. Kamara was stopped in his tracks by Wellsmore. And back off again to Bryce. Bryce going to find Towns inside. Towns just slowly thinking about his pass. He had Habib closing right up behind him. Took a little bit too long. And Habib was there on the scene, managing to tip that ball away. But instead it will be a free kick coming Avondale's way. And it will be Kirker, I believe, to take it. He's sit the ball down. So it's either going to be him or Luca Tavir. So we're just going to wait for this free kick here. Boy, would Avondale love to get this one and really make their mark on this game felt. Avondale, they've got 5 players ready. Corny Perkins is ready, along two with Bryce, Diargenio and Stefan Zini. Kirker trying to chip it over. Is Aiden Bryce inside? And only just. What a beautiful save that was by Christian Rossi. And how about that for a play there by Aiden Bryce, managing to get behind the defenders of Altona. And he had a very, very close one indeed. Could have just tapped it in, but instead, obviously, Christian Rossi is in the right spot at the right time, managing to read him well. And a very good look there by Aiden Bryce. There is a reason why he has had 7 goals so far this season. Managing to sneak his way past the defence to try and provide Avondale with some sort of opportunity. Habib. Referee's not going to call offside. Still Habib here, and instead he loses the ball up yet again to Aiden Bryce, who's having a phenomenal game thus far, might I add. Already mentioned his name a couple times. He's all over the pitch at the moment. D'Argenio plays it to Kirker. Controlled by Towns. And the ball once again going to be all the way back off to Thomas Manos, who's been their reliable goalkeeper so far this season. Has Thomas Manos. Hasn't conceded that many goals, hasn't let too many goals go right by him. Definitely one of the best goalkeepers in the NPL Victoria competition. Kamara trying to fight it off in the engine room. Going to be cleared off to Courtney Perkins. Shepherd pressing up on Kirker. Here's Towns yet again, who's doing a phenomenal job in the engine room. And Altona to regain possession yet again. Here's Wellsmore. Going to go forwards to Tavir, who's been phenomenal this season for Avondale in the midfield. Created so many opportunities, not only for his other players, but also one of the big contributors to Manny Agwek's 13 goals. Provided him with so many opportunities in front of the goal. When you have an incredible midfielder like Luca Tavir, you best believe you're going to be having a whole bunch of opportunities in front of a goal. Here could be another opportunity here for Avondale. Ball still inside the box for them. Zini going to try and turn around, kick it. And that one will sail right over the back of the netting over the goal. Stefan Zini's getting itchy already here, the Victorian. It was the best and fairest and Golden Boot winner at Avondale back in 2013. Clinched those 2 awards. Ended up with 14 goals in 2023, and you can definitely see why. He's definitely wanting an early one to go and to add to his tally in this one. So Christian Rossi, the captain, going to kick it. Went to Habib, the intended target, and instead it was El Hawley managing to work away with the possession. Here's Gust, who normally is playing in that back third position in the left back. Now Gust going to take a shot from a very long distance, and that one to be denied by Thomas Manos. Alexander Gust, a very versatile player for Altona Magic. He was selected on the NPL Team of the Week back in round 15. Played in all 25 games last season, he did, Alexander Gust. This is his 47th NPL game here this afternoon. So he's slowly closing in on that game 50. And the way that he's going, he'll reach it by the last round of the season. Tavir controls it well after the interception by Olamawewe. And the ball going to be kicked out, and it will still be Avondale's ball. Emlyn Wellsmore will throw it in. As I mentioned, the former Oakley Cannon from South Australia. He was one of the big contributors in Oakley's championship run that they had back a while ago. Also a former Poor Melbourne Shark as well as Emlyn Wellsmore, might I add. And here he is right on cue. All the space in the world. Plays it off to Zinni again. Gonna march his way into the middle of the park. And ball just gonna work its way back off to D'Argenio. Avondale passing the ball quite a lot here, really trying to open up this defense here of Altona. You can see a lot of those Altona opposition bombarding the middle of the park, not allowing Avondale to go through the corridor in the middle. They're definitely making Avondale push out on the wings to try and attack, which is what Stefan Zinni has definitely done already multiple times, having to press up on this near side, trying to cross the ball in. Altona does a really good job at not allowing their opposition to have any easy run down the middle of the park. As you can see already, about 4 or 5 players just parking themselves in the middle, making Avondale really work for it. Here's Al Hawley. Tried to go forwards to Shepherd, but couldn't quite. We have a little break in play. We'll take the time as well. I'll read you out some of the other scores that occurred last night. Green Gully and St. Albans Dinamod, they had a 2-2 draw at Green Gully Reserve. Dandenong City, an impressive 1-0 victory over the Oakley Cannons. A very hard-fought win indeed. It's not that easy to get a win against Oakley, considering the amount of weapons that they had, but they got the job done, definitely making their last-minute push towards the finals. Preston Lions got a 1-0 victory over Melbourne Victory. No pun intended. Very hard-fought win it was for them, having multiple shots on goal. Ended up walking away with the 3 points. And Hume City having a 4-1 win at home at Nassau Stadium against the Port Melbourne Sharks. And a big-time shot from well distance, not to be on that attempt, by Kawaguchi. 2 more games still to be played here after this game. Heidelberg take on South Melbourne at Olympic Village. That should be a very exciting matchup indeed. A little preview of the Doherty Cup final that we're going to get in a couple of weeks' time. So it'll be interesting to see how those two feel each other out from this game, and then going off and playing each other in about 2 weeks' time at the home of the Matildas. And then obviously later on tonight will be Dandenong Thunder taking on the bottom of the table Melbourne Knights. So plenty of football still left to be played. That one to be at George Andrews Reserve, but at the moment Paisley Park is slowly starting to heat up. Avondale have had multiple opportunities. There was momentarily one inside the box, but again, Avondale just being outnumbered in the box by the back third of Altona. Altona just bombarding that box, not allowing Avondale to attack. Ahmed tried to play the ball forwards, but it was intercepted. And it's back off yet again to Courtney Perkins. Here's Wellsmore. Bryce. Going to play it forwards. Tavir was down, but wasn't called for anything. D'Argenio, who got the call up, plays in the under-23s Avondale team. Now making his NPL men's start. Could this be a chance here inside the box? The ball was intended for Yusuf Ahmed inside. The tall man right up front is going to be the target for so many attacks, and already you can see why. Just towering over his opposition, then being John Stoichevsky. So Avondale going to regroup and going to try and go again. D'Argenio. Back off again to Bryce, who's been doing a phenomenal job here, as I've already mentioned. Towns struggled to get the ball off. Trajewski trying to work his way inside the middle. It was Gust who controlled it well, cleared it out to Kawaguchi. Yet again, here's Gust, who's being swamped by Avondale players. It was a 3-on-1 virtually. He was ganged up by a mob of them by Kirker and Luca Tavir. And Avondale not going to wait. Ball was out of play, but not allowing any minute to go by here, Avondale. They definitely want a goal here to end this first half. A very dominant first half by them indeed. Bryce. Now deliver it off to D'Argenio, who's got Habib in front of him. Zinni play it off to Tavir. And you can see Avondale just trying to open up the defence here of Altona. Altona has a lot of their defenders in the middle of the park at the moment. Could this be a chance here at the moment? Christian Trajewski, he's in front, trying to cross it up in front, but he couldn't quite manage to clear the ball over. Yeah, Dejan Bakardaniowski. They couldn't quite manage to clear it. Dejan Bakardaniowski from New South Wales, joined the club in late 2024 for the 2025 season. A former Sydney United and Sydney FC player in the New South Wales NPL competition. It was almost an Olympico there. And it was Corny Perkins in the back who gave it a kick, but nothing to be on that attempt. So Christian Rossi to kick it in here for Altona, the goalie. He joined the club in 2023, has been here ever since. Gust, who kicked the ball, very clearly went off the hand of Aiden Bryce there, and you can see vividly the coach of Altona not liking that call whatsoever. Habib trying to play it over Wellsmore's head. Couldn't quite succeed in doing so. Ball's going to be directly under for Kawaguchi, and instead didn't fight it, and the ball going to go straight back into the possession of Avondale here. What can they make do of this time? Here's Wellsmore, tries to play it off to Tavir. Thomason, who's in the lineup after playing last year for the Essendon Royals. Done a good job thus far and not allowing too many attacks to come in for them. Had a pretty good game last week he did against South Melbourne at Lakeside Stadium. And that ball just played out of play by Bilal Habib. Good crowd that's built up on that pavilion side for Altona. Good to see the home fans out in full force. Here's Tavir, who's been pressed up heavily there. Was almost brought down to the ground by Bilal Habib. Kamaru tries to play it off to Gust. And instead, Avondale, the aggressor right now, being a little bit too much here for Altona. And once again, a beautiful looking ball it was for Yusuf Ahmed from Luca Tavir. And once again denied, but these opportunities are definitely starting to rank up here for Avondale. Luca Tavir, such a phenomenal player. Whenever he does get an opportunity to place it to one of his teammates. Zinni. Ahmed tried to place it back and reset the play. Here's Kirker. And back off to Bryce. Here's Towns. Off forwards, just tipping the ball around. And not made to be on that attempt. So the ball in the back third here. Has spent quite a bit of time in the back third for Avondale in this first half. Avondale really trying to open up and find different passages of play to try and exploit this Altona Magic team. Even though Altona Magic, they are 11th on the ladder. They are a very strong defensive team. They don't concede too many goals, they do. And you can see why they do like to park the bus in the middle of the park. It was a beautiful little stop by Habib. And once again, the possession swaying back into Avondale's favour. Bryce off to Tavir. Tried to go after Tracheski. Luca Tavir, might I add. Former Port Melbourne Shark. Spent his time there in 2022 and 2023. And last year played for Green Gully in 2024. Joined Avondale at the start of the season. He is known for his ability to dictate the tempo of the game, along with his versatility and exceptional vision and passing. And you can definitely see why with the amount of shots that he does take and the amount of passes that he does take as well, assisting so many of his teammates, giving them so many looks and shots on goal. It's very clear to see why. So Habib trying to fight Luca Tavir, and instead it's Kirker managing to come to the aid of his teammate. And Ross Clark deeming that a little bit too much there by Kirker and Bilal Habib. And going to award the free kick to Altona. Olumawele plays it quickly off to Thomason. Shepherd. And it will be Avondale's ball yet again. So here's Tracheski. Got a Macedonian citizenship, actually. He joined Avondale back in 2021. A former Macedonian under-21s international player, Christian Tracheski. Actually spent some time playing in Portugal as well for FC Oliveira. Towns plays it to Zinni. And Altona managed to walk away with the possession, but instead, yet again, the possession back in Avondale's tracks. Cleared away by Altona. Avondale are just rampaging their way all over Altona right now. They've really found that extra gear in the last 20 minutes or so. Have dominated the possession tally right now. Have not given any breathing space for Altona. But Altona is still hanging in there on the scoreboard, even though it is still 0-0. And the possession has been dominated by Altona. The fact that Altona would love is that the scoreboard is still 0-0 apiece. So they're still in it with a chance, but if you have been watching this entire game, you have seen that it has been a dominance masterclass by Avondale. All that they need is that one ball to go into the back of the netting in the goal. And then Avondale are most likely going to start easing off the pressure a little bit more. But then again, we know how Avondale play, and they'd love to just keep the goals flowing. Tavir tries to play it off to Yusuf Ahmed again, and instead not to be on that occasion. Thomason. Back again with a connection one-on-one with Habib. He was held by Emslin Wellsmore. And the first yellow card of the game looks to be going to Wellsmore, and is. So the first yellow of the game going Emlyn Wellsmore's way. The left back for Avondale. And our fourth official here in front of us has signalled for 1 additional minute of added time. So 1 more minute to be completed in this first half. And even though the scoreboard says 0-0, I'm sure that Avondale are definitely looking at the positives here, because they have virtually and quite literally dominated this first half. I've retained so much of the possession, have created so many opportunities. It's just that finishing touch to try and close it off and put the ball in the netting hasn't quite gone their way. They've been a little bit unlucky in closing it out. But that will be half-time. Ross Class not going to wait any further than that. And a very, very dominant display by Avondale indeed. As we go into half-time, it is Altona Magic 0, Avondale 0. Plenty more action still to come, and a goal still waiting for both these two sides here at Paisley Park.
Let's go! Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half here at Paisley Park between Avondale and Altona Magic. It was a first half that was quite literally dominated by Avondale. If you want to talk about any type of domination, just go back and have a look at that first half. Avondale obtained about 85% of the possession in that first half. Did not give Altona any bit of a competitive chance whatsoever. We're just on complete attack. Unfortunately, couldn't get any goals on the score. However, they had quite a few attacking opportunities inside the box. One from this man right here, Aiden Bryce, who from a free kick set shot crept up behind the line and had a one-on-one with Christian Rossi. Couldn't quite tap it in, but he had a very beautiful look though. And he's had a phenomenal game here thus far. But kickoff is underway here for the second half here. And both these two teams still sitting 0-0 on the scoreline. And it will want to be Avondale to try and break away first. It was a beautiful cross by Stefan Zini inside. I am Stefan Georgic. It's a pleasure to be calling this game and you listening and watching this game wherever you may be watching right around not only Victoria but right around Australia as well. And Ross Clark pointing, and that one will be awarded Avondale's way, and very deservedly so. But it was just outside the box, only a yard just shy of the box. So they will be getting a free kick here, Avondale will be. So the first free kick of the second half going Avondale's way. The last time these two teams faced off against one another, it was Avondale that quite literally dominated on the stat sheet. They had 28 shots on target. So they had 28 shots and 14 of which were on target. They had 8 corners in that game, long 2 with 5 offsides. Ended up having 8 fouls as well. Altona also had 8. Altona in that game, they had 15 shots, 7 of which were on target. This is the 12th meeting between these two teams. Avondale do lead at 9-1, the head-to-head, only the one draw they've had. And could Avondale be soaring their way to 10 wins, leading the head-to-head? Ball's going to be in. Oh, a very, very close one. A phenomenal save there by Christian Rossi in goal. Luca Tavir absolutely unloaded as hard as you could. And he couldn't quite make anything of it. So another corner coming up here for Avondale. On the near side, Kirker tried to get it up, couldn't quite. Zini was in the back. Couldn't quite manage to get the kick off. And once again, ball going to still be in possession here with Avondale on the back third, but a very close one indeed. Luca Tavir is going towards the top right of that goal. Phenomenal looking kick it was, almost went in. The former Port Melbourne Shark. Could he do it again here? Tries to keep the ball alive. Christian Rossi having to come out of the box to save that one, and only just. Any later and he would have seen the ball going in the netting. Ball going to be kicked. Tried to go to the direction of Shepherd, but was nowhere around that football. Towns, who had a bit of a quiet first half. He did a little nutmeg there by Courtney Perkins on Kawaguchi. And Avondale just making some yardage here. Slowly progressing up the pitch. Ahmed, beautiful chest control. Back off to Courtney Perkins. Off to Kirker. Kirker trying to evade O'Hawley. And once again, that ball will be out of play. And Avondale now have progressed right up now into the final third. What can they make do of it? Ahmed had a 3-on-1, managed to clear it out to Courtney Perkins. And it was O'Hawley who managed to walk away with the possession. Selling the candy, quite good he is here. Finding Kamara, but couldn't. Lost the possession. Wellsmore goes to his left, goes to his right. Going to take a shot from well beyond distance. And not quite there for Emslyn Wellsmore, but what a shot though. 2 shots from long distance here for Avondale. The first from the free kick by Luca Tavir. The second momentarily happening there by Wellsmore, the former Oakley Cannon player. Just unloading completely at that one. And Avondale, they definitely got the wind advantage. The wind blowing from left to right on your screen. Wind is going towards this end of the pitch, and Avondale have it all to play for here. Ball going to be in the back, going to be headed up by Bryce. Fighting is D'Argenio. Still in possession of Avondale. Gustin Kawaguchi tried to pick it off from Luca Tavir, but couldn't. And it will be Wellsmore to throw it in here. Can Avondale dominate just like they did in the first half? At the moment, the answer to that question is definitely being answered. Avondale only had about 1 shot, maybe if that, in that first half. Were completely dominated by Avondale. And it's on sloppy little mistakes like that by Altona, not having a man in the middle wherever the ball might possibly be. Courtney Perkins off to Zinni, who was the intended target on numerous occasions in that first half. Played on this near side, played in the left wing position. Now he's altered, now playing on the right wing, still on this near side. I definitely like using him to try and cross the ball in. Former A-League player. Played on Melbourne Victory. Sorry, I should say Melbourne City, Western Sydney Wanderers, and Western United back in his time from 2014 to 2021. There he is on cue, Stefan Zinni. Plenty of top flight national experience. Tried to go Luca Tavir to Zinni, but instead he was picked off by Kawaguchi, who is playing in the back third today. Normally Kawaguchi's up in the final third, playing in that left wing position, but instead the coaching decision has been to start him in the back line. Clearly they know that they need all of their utilities, I should say, in the back line, in their back third, to try and stop Avondale. And it's been working, but then again, Avondale have just been on the attack constantly. So even though there haven't been any goals scored, it has been Avondale that have been flat out attack here in this one. Here's Gust. He's quite literally living up to his name right now, because there is quite a strong gust of breeze blowing through Paisley Park at the moment. There has been all afternoon. Not the softest of breezes, might I add. 43-kilometre-an-hour gusts we're getting here at Paisley Park. 21 kilometres an hour is the wind. Definitely making it hard for the fellas out there on the pitch to try and really create anything out there. Gust, a little bit of a bicycle kick back off to Shepherd. And once again, it'll be Aidan Bryce to collect it. Aidan Bryce, he's from New South Wales, a former Melbourne Knights player. Joined Avondale in 2023. He's played a total of 144 games in the top flight in Victoria. And you can definitely see why. The experience is kicking in with the amount of stoppages that he's had in that back third. Being a very big component of that defense for Avondale. Towns inside the box, and slowly try and work his way forwards towards the goal, but instead he just carried that little too much momentum. Avondale's next game that they'll play will be against Heidelberg United next week, Saturday the 2nd of August. Kickoff at 7 p.m. at Avenger Park. A top of the table clash will be very exciting, and the ball's in, and what about that for Avondale? It does not get any stronger than that for Avondale. And Christian Trajewski with a goal for Avondale, and Olympico putting that one in the netting, catching everyone off guard. And that is definitely going to be somewhat of a goal of the week competitor for sure. It doesn't get any stronger than that. Christian Trajewski, who had a goal on Tuesday in that 5-1 victory for Avondale against Sterling Macedonia. Now adding his own flair in this one. What a goal, and the opener going Avondale's way. And already Altona want to try and attack back. Can they do it yet again here? Already pressing up. Here's Trajewski again. Clears it out to Kirker, who's in space, who had Kawaguchi. He's going to go with his left foot, and only just over the crossbar goes Kirker. Kirker wants in on this party as well. And at the moment, Avondale are just raining down shots here at Paisley Park. It's a goal of highlights for Christian Trajewski. Here's Wellsmore. And my correction, actually, folks, it was actually Luca Tavir who kicked the goal in. Apologies and correction for that. I had a look through my binoculars and I couldn't actually see who had kicked the goal. I saw one of the players, I believe it might have been Yitu Towns, actually patting the head of Christian Trajewski, which made me assume straight away that it was Christian Trajewski, but instead, nevertheless, though, it was Luca Tavir who had that incredible Olympico. An outrageous goal. And that's definitely one to be celebrated for Luca Tavir. And he definitely deserved it with the amount of opportunities that he's passed through to his teammates. It's about time that he has a goal of his own. That's his 5th goal of the season with that one. Here's Gust. Off to Habib. Habib, who went straight into the feet of Towns. And Altona still with this one here. Could this be the first real chance here for Altona? Habib, who's one-on-one with Corny Perkins. Plays it back off to Gust. Gust, who's going to try and cross it in. Could this be the first real chance there for Altona? And not quite to be on that occasion, denied. And here comes the counter-attack for Avondale. Wellsmore just slowing up the tempo. Off to Tavir. And here's Towns. only goal scorer, Luca Tavir. My correction. Phenomenal goal indeed. And then straight away on the very next possession, Kirker wanted in on the party from well beyond distance. Only just nicked over the crossbar. Here's Ahmed. Back off to Towns. Plays it through to Zinni. Zinni, who would also love to get his name on the score sheet. Going to try and play it over the heads, I should say. Corny Perkins trying to keep it alive. The never say die attitude from Jackson Courtney Perkins. Couldn't quite on that occasion. He's played in all 21 games so far this season, Jackson Courtney Perkins. Joined Avondale last year. Played in the 6th tier in Germany as well, back in 2017 and 2019. Also a former Port Melbourne Shark. Joined the team this year, and he's had already so much success. And could this be another opportunity here? They got the numbers ahead of the football here to Avondale. Kirker does a little bit of a jump over Stoichevsky. And Altona live to fight yet another day. Still retaining the possession, but at what cost? Thomason. Gust. It was Wellsmore hunting him down. Towns now. Gonna clear it back off once again to Wellsmore. He's had a phenomenal game here this afternoon, has Wellsmore, along to he did last week against Dandenong City. One of the key defenders in that back third for Avondale. Here's Christian Taracheski though. Still charging with the football here, the former Macedonian under-21s international player. Still with the football on the edge of the box. Going to kick it, but instead it was Bakir Danovski with his body in the right position, managing to deflect that one. And yet another corner coming up here. Could this be another Olympico possibly for Avondale? They had one on the far side, and instead Kirkuk didn't want to take the risk this time. Kawaguchi going to kick it out and away. Still in Avondale's favour. And what you're seeing, folks, right now, this onslaught of attack by Avondale is what happened in that first half. Avondale had so much of the possession in that first half that Altona didn't know what to do. They were dug in a hole and they couldn't quite work their way out of it. And at the moment, this is how they're trying to really try and exploit them. Avondale are. It's a virtually flawless game that Avondale have played here this afternoon. And they're going to need every little bit of confidence to take out of this one ahead of next week. The top of the table clash, as I mentioned before that Luca Tavir goal, the absolute thriller that he scored. They're going to need it against Heidelberg. Heidelberg United, such a strong team they are. The way that Johnny A has built that Heidelberg team, and the way that he's coached them, and the position that they're in right now, it is scary, scary stuff. This is a very different Heidelberg United team to the ones that we're seeing of previous occasions. They're definitely hunting for an NPL championship, and along too with the Doherty Cup to go to their name. Alexandros versus Hellas, the long rivalry reigniting in the Doherty Cup, along too in the Nike FC Cup. Both South Melbourne and Heidelberg in both retrospective finals in the Doherty Cup in the men's and the Nike FC Cup in the women's. Can either one of the two teams walk away with both, or will they end up splitting them? Will one take away the Doherty Cup and one take away the Nike FC Cup? Gonna have to wait and see. We'll be live in 2 weeks' time at the home of the Matildas. Very, very exciting. Can South Melbourne do the double and recapture back-to-back Doherty Cups. Or is Heidelberg going to deny that with the team that they've built? Heidelberg definitely has an argument in saying otherwise. Here's Zinni, who had Gust one-on-one, manages to work his way past him. And that ball will be out of play. A substitution getting ready to check in. Manny Agwek, who's sitting on 13 goals for his season, had 2 goals just this past Tuesday, and that 5-1 victory over Sterling Macedonia. Did the iconic aura farming celebration as well after he kicked his first goal. That's making headways right across social media and TikTok. So maybe he might do another aura farming celebration if he does end up kicking a goal. When he does make his way on the pitch, it should be any minute now. And a substitution also coming in for Avondale. Couple coming in as well for Altona. So on will come Anthony Frangi for Altona Magic. And the other one being Peter Hadzolopoulos coming on. So Anthony Frangi and Peter Hadzolopoulos coming on. Off comes Owen Shepherd. Along too with Muhammad Al Hawley off. And Yusuf Ahmed came off for Manny Agwek. Yusuf Ahmed, who's played a strong game so far here this afternoon, being replaced by Avondale's leading goal kicker, the 3rd goal scorer in the NPL men's competition, Manny Agwek. So off comes one superstar and on comes another superstar. And just watch Manny Agwek get targeted on numerous occasions. The ball will get fed to him a lot. The star player up front here is from South Sudan. Former Western United player in 2020 and 2021. And also for the Central Coast Mariners as well in 2021 and 2022. Should mention as well Anthony Frangi as well from New South Wales. Played for several different teams in the NPL system in New South Wales. Began his career at Marconi Stallions in New South Wales in 2017 to 2021 before he joined and moved to Melbourne, playing for the Melbourne Knights in 2022. So Kawaguchi to throw it in. Ball was directly under. And Ross Clark calling for the free kick again. Altona looking to try and make another push on that far side this time. Gust has been the intended target so far in this second half. Didn't really get too much touches of the football in that first half. And could this be a chance here for Kirker? And instead it won't be. Kirker's got to be careful. He's already on the 1 yellow card and he absolutely wiped out Alexander Gust on that passage of play. A little bit of WWE style out there, taking him out. And in the meantime, as we say WWE, I'd love to give a little shout out and say rest in peace to the late great Hulk Hogan, who passed away yesterday. Idol to so many. So a rest in peace to him. A couple other substitutions as well getting ready to check in. Here's Kian Cuba along to with Stefan Valentini getting ready to be subbed in. Valentini looks looks to be replacing Stefan Zinni. So one Stefan comes on and one Stefan will be coming off. 3 Stefans actually as well. One's in the commentary box right here doing the commentating, but the ball's inside for Bilal Habib, and the ball going over the crossbar. And a very, very close one indeed there for Altona and for Habib, trying to up his confidence. And here will come the substitutions. So on will come Stefan Zinni for Stefan Valentini, and Kian Kuba will come on for Christian Trajczewski. So 2 brand new fresh legs coming on for Avondale. Looking to try and close out this game. Stefan Valentini, a former Oakley Cannon, was one of the vital pieces in last year's Oakley Cannons championship run, getting the championship job. He's from South Australia. He does have from actually Western Australia, I should say. Sorry, correction. He also too played in Germany's 5th and 6th tier back in 2015 and 2018. Actually formerly played for Avondale as well back in 2021 and 2022. Went and played for Oakley in 2023 and 2024, and now back in the other blue outfit playing for Avondale. Courtney Perkins looking to try and get his name on the board. Christian Rossi managing to clean that one up. And Sian Cuba, well, he's from Queensland. Former Altona Magic player in 2023, so a little bit of a derby game here for him. Be interesting to see how the other players and his former teammates respond to that. Maybe they might target him and maybe give him a nice little welcome back present and say, welcome back to Paisley Park. He is obviously wearing that opposite jumper, not in the red and black, but in the white and blue. Kawaguchi struggled to keep the ball in play. Altona Magic's next home game that they're going to be playing, or the next game I should say, they're going to take on Stefan Valentini's former side, the Oakley Cannons, on Friday night, the 1st of August at Jack Edwards Reserve. Kickoff for that game will be at 8:15 p.m. Could definitely use this game as a little bit of confidence, considering that they are keeping the second of the table, Avondale, to just the 1 goal. Even though it has been a quite dominant performance out here by Avondale. Haven't put a foot wrong, they have. However, I'm sure this 1-0 lead at the moment could definitely be stretched out to maybe 2 or 3, maybe potentially even 4 with the amount of opportunities that they had. Alexander Gus was in the back there, trying to fight off the Argenio, the under-23s player, now making his start in this senior Avondale men's team. And could this be another opportunity here for Altona? Gust going to try and cross it up. Ball set up for Habib. It's in the back though. Stoichevsky going to kick it, and instead the kick will be kicked away. So earlier on the season, these two teams faced off one another back on the 12th of April. And it was Avondale who had a domination win, a 4-0 victory for them. Stefan Valentini had a goal, Kirker had one, Joey Katabian had one, along too with Jackson Courtney Perkins. Those were the 4 goal scorers this time round. Luca Tavir with that incredible Olympio, managing to put it in the goal. Definitely going to be the goal of the week for sure. You just know for sure it will be. Definitely be one of the contenders. Glad you could be with us as well here, watching this game on wherever you may be, on a nice cozy warm sofa, possibly with a beer in your hand or something. Just remember, there are still 2 more games to come later on today. Plenty more Football Victoria action still to come after this game. We do have currently a game going on. It's half-time between Heidelberg United and South Melbourne at Olympic Village. South Melbourne leading that one 1-0 against Heidelberg United. Very surprising there, leading a South Melbourne against the top of the table Heidelberg United. Could be a little bit of an upset here in round 23, possibly the biggest upset for sure if South Melbourne are to clinch it. But then again, South Melbourne have definitely managed to find another gear in this second half of the season. Did not start their season well whatsoever. Obviously firing their former coach. And now obviously with Sinisia Kahazdic at the head of the realm. Definitely changing up the way that their season's going. And here's Cuba in a bit of a derby game for him. Who's one-on-one, going to play it off. He could have taken a shot, tried to pass it off to his teammate Stefan Valentini. And couldn't quite manage to convert that one. He was one-on-one with Christian Rossi, and he couldn't quite make anything of that attempt. But a very close one indeed. And denied on that occasion. Yet again was Avondale. Now we have one more substitution getting ready here to check into this one. The final one will be Daniel Edwards getting ready to come in, and he'll be replacing Jackson Courtney Perkins as possibly the final substitution in this one, folks. Jackson Courtney Perkins, that's going to be his day done and dusted. On will come Dan Edwards. And on he comes. Dan Edwards, the former Port Melbourne Shark as well. He's from New Zealand. Played in the New Zealand Premiership League in 2021 and 2020. He's definitely one that's no stranger to the cold. Could this be another role here for Avondale? Balls ahead, Kerr, who's got one-on-one with Christian Rossi, and once again Christian Rossi doing an unbelievable job at stopping that attack again. Here's Olomawewe, who hasn't been too active in this second half. Hasn't had to do too much of the work. The football has been attacked by Avondale on this near side, and an offside call for Altona. Obviously, Avondale, the way that they're going, not only will they be contesting in the Australia Cup, I should say, but also in the Australian Championship. That'll be happening later on in the year. They are one of the foundation clubs, along two of the Preston Lions and South Melbourne. And they do have the Preston Lions in the same group stage as them in Group C. Still waiting on two other teams to be announced in their group. One is from the New South Wales NPL, and the other in the NPL Capital Footballs League as well. So exciting for that Australian Championship. The national second tier to get underway a little bit later on in the year. And maybe it could just be possibly Heidelberg that could be making their name deservedly so for that last spot. Obviously one more spot from NPL Victoria to be decided. Could also be Dandenong Thunder maybe, we don't know. But 3 teams already confirmed. And here's Valentini, who's one-on-one with Kamara. Plays it off to Cuba. Cuba tried to place it back off with him. And it goes back off to Edwards. Dan Edwards, who's played in all 22 games this season for Avondale. He's kicked in 3 goals as well. Starting on the bench this time around. He was one of the starters last week against Dandenong City. This time starting on the bench, giving Jackson Courtney Perkins the chance to start. Here's Edwards. Plays it along the deck to Cuba. Cuba wasn't the man. And went straight into the back third for Altona. Ball going to be kicked forwards for Altona. And it will be out of play. So Kawaguchi, beautiful control, lost the ball to Kirker. And the handball, that one was called by Ross Clark. Have been a couple of them here this afternoon that haven't really been called. But then again, Ross Clark can only call what he sees. And fair and deservedly so. Ross Clark, one of the best in the business. The officials and referees have done a great job here this afternoon. Bit of a contest that's going to be broken away. Here's Manny Agwek. He would love goal number 14, would he? Directly in front, going to try and spot it for his teammate. Here's Valentini inside, going to turn around and kick it. That one yet again denied, and Avondale have had a couple like that where they've had it directly in front of the goal. And they haven't quite decided to take it. So Altona now on the far side. Hadzopoulos. Gust with a beautiful sell of the candy on Edwards. Here's Hadzopoulos again. Trying to fight off his defender in Yu Towns. Obviously, since we are in round 23, there are only 3 more games left to play after this week. Avondale's remaining games, they play Heidelberg next week. Then in round 25, they'll play the informed South Melbourne right now. That one will be at Lakeside Stadium. And then in their final game of the season, they will take on Green Gully at home at Avenger Park. For Altona, next week, they will travel down to the southeast to take on the Oakley Cannons. And then the following week, they're going to take on the Port Melbourne Sharks here at home at Paisley Park. And then their final game of the season, they're going to take on the Melbourne Knights at Comsett Stadium. They definitely want to get a win there as well. It'll do them very nicely to try and break away from the relegation battle that's happening down the very bottom between the Melbourne Knights, Port Melbourne and Melbourne Victory. And the sun has luckily decided to come out here, but could we see an attack here? Keon Cuba going to take a shot. And not quite. Good to see the sun back out, just setting up over the trees. Right when I say that, it starts to set right back down again. Danikoski. Beautiful chest control. Straight down under the football. Agwek plays it off to Kirker. They connect so well, they do on multiple occasions. Kirker going to try and cross it over. Tried to go to Cuba inside, but not meant to be on that occasion, and it was an offside call instead. So Christian Rossi to kick it in. Could this be another chance here for Avondale? And not, it is an offside. So obviously now that Avondale are in the steering wheel at the helm here at the moment, they are at the head of the helm in terms of leading this game and possibly walking away with the 3 points. It's good to see that the race to the finals is getting exciting. Obviously, the first two teams that do finish on the top of the table will have a bye first round, and they will go straight to the preliminary finals. And then the remaining 4 teams will take on one another in the elimination final. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Obviously, Dandenong Thunder, such an informed team at the moment. They're going to take on the Melbourne Knights later on this evening. The Oakley Cannons as well. We know how strong they can be. Preston, we're also having a super season. They had a 1-0 win last night against Melbourne Victory. It was a very hard-fought game, but they did walk away with the 3 points with their only goal. From distance, might I add. Unbelievable goal it was by Jonas Markovski. And then obviously Hume City after their very convincing 4-1 victory at home last night against Port Melbourne Sharks at National Stadium. Those are the other 4 teams that are currently, if the season was to end today, are in the finals. However, Dandenong City, they're making a last-minute push for the finals, along too with Green Gully. So it'll be exciting to see how the season finishes, along to a couple cup games in between the conclusion of the season to now. Bryce with the header. Still in the box here. Can Altona get a goal here? That would be desirable for them and even up things. Avondale did have the 1-1 draw last week against Dandenong City, and I'm sure they wouldn't want another one here this afternoon. It has been a very convincing performance from them, and once again an offside call here for Avondale. Manny Agwek is a little bit too far ahead of the football. He's got a little bit too ahead of himself. He's itching for that 14th goal and trying to tie up Joe Guest with 14. And could this be another opportunity? Kamara managing to get there just in the nick of time. Agwek plays it to himself forwards. He's got Kawaguchi. Going to try and cross it in. Here's Luca Tavir, who wouldn't mind the second one. Here's Luca Tavir trying to fight off Hadzopoulos. Ball's cleared out to Edwards. Back off to Towns. Towns, who is definitely picked up with the way he's played in this second half. Here's Agwek. One-on-one with Kawaguchi. Tries to play it through his legs. Works it back off to Kirker. So Avondale going to look to try and reset here. Going from one side of the pitch to the other. Edwards. Back off to Towns. And back off once again to Edwards. Playing a bit of tippy-tapper with it in front of the home fans. Tavir. And the ball back in the possession of the goalkeeper and the captain of Altona, Christian Rossi. Going to play it down the line. Tried to go to Anthony Frangi. Could this be another last late-minute attack? Here's Frangi. Managing to keep the possession here. Going to try and work it forwards off to Hatzopoulos. And couldn't quite there. So the ball will still be in Avondale's favour. So Paisley Park has definitely spiced things up here this afternoon. Avondale have been in control this entire game. And our fourth official signaling for 3 minutes of additional time. I almost lost my wording in there because it was a beautiful chance inside once again for Manny Agwek. He's seeking that goal number 14. It will come at some point. But at the moment, he's going to just have to wait that little bit longer. Kirker tries to play it off to Agwek after receiving it from Cuba. And Thomason was brought down by Valentini. So 3 additional minutes here to conclude proceedings here of this one. In a very, very one-sided game here. 1-0 is the scoreline, however. Avondale can make a claim that it should have been a lot more than that. A lot of Avondale's players have done a super job out here this afternoon. Hats off to Luca Tavir as well. I mean, how about that, the Olympico? I got it wrong and I thought it was Christian Trajewski. It looked like it. The boy, U Towns, he faked me out by giving Christian Trajewski a pat on the head right when I looked through my binoculars to see who had scored the goal. But instead, though, look, we're all human and we all get it wrong. So when Luca Tavir does go back and watch it, I do apologise to you, my good sir. He has had a good performance, though, here today, that's for sure, with the way that he's played. Very strong player in the engine room for Avondale. And as I've mentioned already, he's the provider of so many of Manny Agwek's goals that he's had so far this season. And you can definitely tell why. And I think it was only fitting that he ended up getting one of his own. And I think he's definitely gotten the highlight of his season with that one, the Olympico. Outrageous goal. You don't see those too often. You can just see how strong the wind is there with that kick up from Christian Rossi. Here's Agwek and Kirker with one final connection, possibly to maybe put the dagger in the coffin here for Avondale. Going to go on to his left. Kirker played it beautifully to try and trick up his defender on Kawaguchi. Just couldn't quite manage to connect with it. But a beautiful play it was there. Bryce to header it. Kirko trying to rise up. Ball just floating around at the moment. The wind causing a nuisance here at Paisley Park. I thought coming to this game that there could have been some wind and definitely some rain, but instead the rain held off. The wind was here and it was apparent. And the one thing that will remain constant is that Avondale will be back on the winners list. A very, very hard-fought win here against Altona Magic. They virtually dominated this game from start to finish with the way that they played. And it's a very, very handy 3 points they need as the season slowly comes to an end. At the end and at the conclusion of this one, ladies and gentlemen, it is Altona Magic 0, Avondale 1. Thank you so much for watching. From myself, Stefan Georgic, and from the entire crew here, we say so long, and we'll see you next week for round 24 of the NPL Victoria season. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time.